Hi everyone, it's Joa with Special Heart Studio. Today I'm back with another layered design. This is a Christmas one again. It's Layered Nutcracker. I'm going to briefly show how to set him up, pull him up into Design Space, and then show you how I assembled him. So once you've downloaded the free SVG file from my website, you'll want to make sure to unzip the download folder. You can then come into Cricut Design Space, click Upload, Browse, navigate to where you have saved your design. Remember, you can rename him, save him if you want to make him a layered design, Christmas design, so that you can find him later in your saved projects. But once you have him uploaded, select him so the green box is highlighted around the recently uploaded images and click Insert Image. So I've saved him with the background layer twice. I've done that because on my prototype, I usually cut most of my cardstock designs on 65-pound weight paper, just because it's the least expensive and it's easy for me to get locally at Michael's, easy to order online. When I did the prototype, he was a little flimsy. So I duplicated the very back layer. If you use a heavier weight cardstock, at least for the back layer, it may not be as a big deal. So, but I did add a second layer there if you wanted to thicken him up so that he'll stand up. If you're just going to put him in a shadow box or maybe on a card, it may not be as big a deal. So that's why I left this off to the side so that you can easily get rid of it if you don't want him. So I ungrouped the layers while I was talking there. He's pretty much set to go. He's saved at a little over 10 inches tall so that you could cut him on a 8.5 by 11 cardstock. This project is perfect for scraps. There's all kinds of little tiny pieces that can be a little tedious to glue, but that's okay. He's really super cute, if I do say so myself. I have saved the file in a couple shades so that it's easier to see on screen. So you'll see here, his boots are a little bit darker gray, and then the base is black. I do the same with the pants. I found doing this on my files saves a lot of questions. People think the layers aren't all there. So if you want to cut him in different colors, that's okay. If you want to change, the easiest way to do that is to use the color sync. So here is another example. I did his background hair in a gray so that you can see it on screen. I simply move that up because I'm going to cut it in white. And then his boots and hat, I'm going to use all the same black also. So here we have his face, and you'll see when you cut it, oh, so many pieces. I'll move them out of the way. So I did his body too, not just his face, and that's to make the structure itself sound, to keep it so that it's not as flimsy, so that the skin tone stops at right here at his knees. So now that we've undressed our Nutcracker, and then I on the one I'm going to cut, I'm using a red cardstock for the back of his coat, but then a pretty red foil for the front. So that's why I've left this separate. Anyway, so there's not a whole lot to do in Design Space, other than if you decide you don't need this very back black layer, base layer, if you have a heavier weight cardstock, or depending how you're going to use the file. So I'm going to click Make It, and we'll get started. I have found with this Recollections paper from Michael's, when I use a blue mat with my maker and the light cardstock setting, it cuts absolutely perfect. So I'll go ahead and cut him out, and then I'll show you how I've assembled him. Okay, now that we have the Nutcracker man, all cut out. I'm going to show you how I assembled them. Feel free to use pop dots, foam tabs, glue. Totally make them your own. If you don't want to use the foam tabs, I think it's perfectly fine. But I'll show you how I assembled. This guy was my prototype. So we'll do another one here. So I'm going to start by gluing bits and pieces together that we'll use once we've got some foam tabs on. Going to use my art glitter glue because it's got that fine little tip. Okay, so I've laid all the pieces out. They're easy to identify, especially if you just look at the shape of him. The bigger dots are the buttons here on his chest, and then the smaller circles will be the arm cuffs. Obviously, his little arm decorations. And then this is where you have to be a little bit careful. There's his cuffs and his shoulders. They're similar in size. So just pay attention when you're gluing those. So I'm going to start with his belt and belt buckle. We'll just put a little glue here. Stick it right in the middle. Apparently I got way too much glue. It's early. So when you get too much and you don't want it to dry and see clumps, I use the little pin that closes the art glitter glue and just scrape it off. Okay, we'll set that aside. I'm going to add his buttons here. There we go. We'll set those back. Stuck to my finger. Okay. I'm missing his teeth. Where did his teeth go? Okay. I found his mouth / teeth. I don't know. They had ended up in the trash can, but we're salvageable. So now we will get that one ready. This one's tricky because it's so open there and super thin. Okay, set that aside. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and glue his cuffs on. I'm going to leave it the shoulder part until I have him attached. And we'll go ahead and his cuff buttons. Just kind of in the middle there. Okay, I'm gonna focus my attention. Oh, I guess we could add his cuffs on his boots or pants. There we go. Okay, let's glue him good. Line him up. His flat hat is easy to use as a guide. Make sure I get these. Okay. His skin, I purposely made it his whole body too. Reminds me of paper dolls. Just to reinforce him. So that's why he's a little bit, but I wanted the black to show through his boots. So there's that. Okay, next I'm going to add his hat base and hair. From there, I'm going to put his jacket on. Move on to his pants. These are cut at the angle of his jacket, so it's best to make sure you have them the right way. They'll fit better. There we go. And you can bump that right up against his jacket. Okay. I think I'll go ahead and add these. I've had a little time to dry. I'm going to put them on this foil. It looks confusing on the jacket part that these are different sizes. It's an optical illusion. They're all the same size. There we go. And then we'll add his belt here. Okay, let that dry a minute. Now I'm going to use, these are Forever and Time micro pop dots. I'll have a link to buy them in the blog post. I did get these on Amazon. I've used these in quite a few projects now, and they're super small, but they work well. They can just be tedious. So I grab it with my tweezers, place and push it down. I had a terrible time with the square ones getting the top part off, so I've stuck with a round. The nice thing about the square ones is there isn't this junk in between. But if you can't get the adhesive to show, it doesn't do much good. Okay, so I like, there's so little space on these to stick to. I push them down really good before I peel the tops off, because I found sometimes I end up pulling the whole thing off. You could take a black Sharpie marker and color the sides of the pop dots. I did do that on this prototype, but then decided since you can see the white part anyway, didn't know if it would really matter. So there's this hat, and we'll add this top decorative piece. Now we will do his curls that aren't very curly. Oh, sorry. Okay. Of course, it's like that. There we go. Next, I'm going to add his coat. And then I have a few bigger ones here. These bigger ones I'm using today are recollections from Michael's. They're about the same thickness as the micro pop dots. Normally on the other layered projects, I really like the Tombow because they're thicker, but then it doesn't match up. Okay. Next, I'm going to add, I don't even know what this is called, the top part of his jacket. Collar, maybe? There we go. We'll give him his mouth and beard. Now I'll add, I guess I could have added them before. I just didn't know if that would get in the way. You'll have to excuse my head in the video. I didn't realize. There we go. And now his fun little mustache. This, I'm just going to use some of these. You can give them a little character depending how you place these. The trick is getting the second one even. That looks good. Maybe. Oops. There we go. We will glue his armbands here. This armband touches up to the side, or the yellow on his shoulder, and then obviously the sides of the arms. And it's so thin, so there's lots of glue. Well, yeah, I think I glued. Oh well. Don't do what I did. This should have been reversed with the. It doesn't look bad though. And last, we have his boots. on the black part again, you could take a Sharpie and color the edges of the foam tabs black. I do know on Amazon there are some black foam dots. I don't know if they have them in the teeny tiny size. And there we go. I now have 2 nutcrackers. Using the double layer of 65-pound cardstock on the back made him a lot more sturdy. This one kind of falls over if you hold him. So I hope you enjoy this project. I'd love if you subscribe to my channel, click the button. The Nutcracker SVG can be downloaded free on my website at specialheartstudio.com. Thanks, everyone.